Hello and welcome everybody to episode 4 of Pocket Moon Podcast. I'm Taffy,
And I'm Amazing Flying Pooh.
and we are just now getting started for you with a whole list full of goodness for another run through the world of gaming.
Yeah, this is an exciting one. There's so much going on in the last few weeks.
There's always a lot going on, more than we can keep up with, actually. We had a lot of good feedback after episode 3. Thanks, everybody, for that. And we're doing our best to incorporate as much of it as we possibly can as we go. So
Yep.
keep those suggestions coming. We like it. Thanks a lot. And thanks for all the positive comments as well. Much appreciated. Okay, the big one for news. There really is only one news topic, but I did make sure I came up with some other stuff. And that is that the Sony NGP is coming out.
And I've been telling you this was coming. I think we talked about this on episode 1 or episode 2, and we argued. I said, well, the PSP2 is coming out around the corner. And you said, we're not even sure it's coming. But they finally announced it.
You were absolutely right. It's just one of those things. There was so much speculation for so many years. You just completely stop believing anything you hear, no matter how legit it is or otherwise. But it's big. So have they even decided on the name? It's still just Next Generation Portable is their code name.
I'm pretty sure that they're saying NGP or Next Generation Portable is not the official name. That's the code names. And everyone seems to be thinking that they will stray away from the name PSP2 just because PSP actually, while it sold a lot of systems, it didn't really carry many nice thoughts about it from a lot of people. Just because, I don't know, the PSP Go hurt a lot of people because they didn't support it very well. And really, there just wasn't as much support for it as there was for DS, and just a lot of unhappy people over promises that weren't kept and such. So I think they're going to try to rebrand it, probably keep the PlayStation name, but not the PSP name.
Right. Well, that'll be interesting to see how they play that one out. I have a PSP Go. I love the thing. Love it. Mm-hmm. It's, I think, the best handheld I've ever had. You're right that they didn't support the release of titles in the way that they said, and then there's the people out there with stack of UMD discs that they can no longer use, and there's fewer of them coming out on the PlayStation Network store that you could actually use. So I'm interested to see how they play the NGP. So we know that it has a flash card slot, which presumably will be for like cartridge style games.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure why they would want a whole new format of memory card, but then again, it's the whole piracy thing. They had loads of problems on the PSP.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the big reasons why they're going to want to, or why they really need to move away from the PSP, which, they kind of needed to move to a new system anyway, just because the 3DS is going to be a problem for them. But yeah, I think the piracy is a huge problem, and they're really struggling with piracy on the PS3 front as well right now. So it sucks to be Sony now in the pirating area.
Yeah, they're locking down on it. I think it just comes with digital content, and digital content is the way of the world these days. I understand the move to like the PSP Go, we're download only, which looks like likely what they're going to do with the NGP, also with this card support, however. Just because, look at Apple with the App Store. That's they're doing great. Nobody complains about not having a UMD disc for their iPhone.
Yeah.
But granted, the games are smaller and the apps are much.
I think I almost wonder how they would do if they just came out with only download. It would be a huge risk, but it's paid off so strongly for Apple. Sony's so closely tied to GameStop, and GameStop has all the 3 big systems. They can't do anything because GameStop basically dictates that they need to have something to sell at their store.
That's very true. They just need to make sure that they have a stream for exclusive content. That's really what it's all about. Just there's a new PS3 bundle out, or if you pre-order the download code from GameStop, you get a unlockable that you can't get anywhere else. That sort of thing. People go nuts for that. They go crazy for it. And as long as they keep doing that, GameStop is going to make sales. Everybody's going to be happy.
And so I think the thing that might be the most important for the system, even the specs matter, all the different cool features of it, which we'll talk about. But the games are what's going to really matter. And they announced Uncharted, Resistance, Killzone, LittleBigPlanet. Huge franchises. But the thing that makes me wonder is these are going to be PS3 level these are PS3 level games. And PS3 level games cost a heck of a lot more than a PSP game costs to make. And you just don't expect people to dish out the same kind of money for a handheld game. So, I mean, how do you think they're going to approach it? They're not going to take a hit and, like, sell the game for less than, for a console you can charge less because Sony will make the money back selling the games through licensing. But when it comes to a game, they have to charge the game company has to charge what it costs to make the game and to make a profit. So they gotta be charging $60 for these now, don't you think?
Well, yeah, it's all about the quality of the game. I mean, it simply takes more effort to make a game. Just look at, there's more memory on the disk. There's more room for more graphics, which means more artists, more programmers. It's more expensive. It just costs more, so it's going to cost the consumer more. I think they're going to be $60. Well, it's supposed to be performance-wise on par with the PS3, which is I'm pretty excited about this whole thing.
And I know the thing that doesn't really have me all that excited, but has a lot of people excited, is the Call of Duty. And the thing is, this could really change the way that just gaming in general could completely change if the system goes the way that Sony wants it to. Because the fact that you have 3G mixed with something like Call of Duty means that you could have people playing Call of Duty online, like on the train, on the bus, while they're waiting in line. I mean, it takes that experience which people think of like, okay, when I get home from work and I've eaten dinner, I can finally play Call of Duty for a few hours. But now you can play a game, like if you know you're going to have 15 minutes, well, you could play a game of Call of Duty on the bus. I mean, that just the fact that you can even do that and then people see you doing that could make the system so huge if everything works right for it.
Yeah, I really think it will. I think they've probably done a good job of trumping the 3DS. There's a lot of buzz around it. I think the PSP still did pretty well for Sony, even though it's not considered to be all that popular. It certainly didn't launch all that strong. This one really has got a lot of attention. I think a lot of eyes are on it. So just so quickly, some of the features: 5-inch touchscreen, bigger than the one that's on the original PSP 1000. It's got you mentioned 3G. That's big. Dual analog stick. Not nub, actual stick like on a controller. Front touch screen, back touch pad, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, single shoulder buttons on each side, but I think the back pad more than makes up for it. Built-in GPS, microphone, cameras front and rear.
So, got a question. So, out of all these things, what one or two things do you think could go wrong to make the system fail?
One or two things that could go wrong to make this system fail.
Here, I'll give you a second to think because I kind of thought about it. I think the thing I'm most worried about might be that 3G because I assume that they're not going to only have one system. I think I've already heard that they're going to have two, one where you have 3G and one that you don't. But if that 3G cost is really high and that's one of the main draws, that could really turn me off to the system. Because I'm not going to be paying a high monthly subscription along with this $400, $500 handheld for $60 games. I mean, I don't have a budget to buy LittleBigPlanet 2, so I really don't have the budget to be supporting a 3G for one handheld device.
Yeah, it's like the iPad, right? They have a 3G version and a non-3G version. And the interesting part with the iPad is the AT&T did it's like a flat rate. Like you pay just a flat rate subscription and you get unlimited data. I think it's one sum for the whole year or something like that. And if they can match that sort of a model, it'll be competitive. Otherwise, yeah, there's going to be, the system itself is going to be more expensive. You're going to have a monthly bill. The battery's not going to last as long. So there's definitely different audiences for each. So it's going to be one of those features that some games may have, but most games don't. And so the thing, back to your question about what's going to make it fail, it's going to be the gameplay experience. It's going to be lag. There's no question in my mind that they can make something that is the most incredible networked online experience you could ever imagine, playing Call of Duty on the bus. But the thing that's going to make it fail is when your connection drops because the bus goes under a bridge and you get sniped. That's going to annoy you, and you're going to stop. You're not going to want to play anymore, no matter how cool it is. So the concept is really there, but I think there's going to be problems in the execution just from connectivity, right? Most people don't understand that there's not really like a full 100% of the time stream of data. There's gaps in it that your device is making up for, that kind of makes it seamless for you. And in a gaming situation, you can't have any gaps. Any gaps are are really critical.
Yeah.
To avoid. So I think that'll be the problem.
Okay.
That's my 2 cents on that one.
All right. Good stuff.
So B. coli over on Little Big Network suggested to us that we list out all of the contests in our podcast. We think that's a fabulous suggestion. Thanks, B. coli. So we did a quick kind of scouring of all the contests around to see what we could find. And we located a few. We knew there was one for Valentine's Day, which is now over.
But there's another one on that same site that's it's a pod contest decoration which started on Valentine's Day and it goes through February 20th. And that's run on Little Big Network, and you can find that in their contest section. Enoch wrote the thread. So I couldn't find what the prizes were, but it's a sack of goodies. So it's decorating a pod, so anybody can do that. Go ahead and go do that.
And we'll probably get this published on the 19th at 11:59, so you'll have a minute to your pod.
Yeah.
There's a Little Big Prius contest that's Sony sponsored.
What were the prizes you saw for that?
46-inch Sony Bravia 3D HD TV and a PlayStation Blue hardware bundle for the grand prize, which is
pretty good deal.
That's not bad. PlayStation Eye camera, Move controller, Sports Champion. See the 4 first place winners will receive Move Sports Champions bundle. That's pretty good for making a Little Big Planet level.
Yeah.
It's going to be a pretty stiff competition though. I think it's going to
I'd be kind of scared to get in on that.
Yeah. And it's Sony Bravia, not Sonia Bravia, which is, I'm pretty sure, what I said. It's late in the day and my coffee is worn off. We've had a couple of creator spotlights on Little Big Planet Central. So PSP Creator Rewind 4 on Velcro Jones is out and archived since. So if you didn't get a chance to check that out, you can find it on Little Big Planet Central Spotlight Archive or on our YouTube channel, which is Pocket Moon Production.
Yeah, that was a fun one to make.
That was very, very fun. And then for the PS3, there's the Creator Rewind. I don't know what number it is for Demo 1138.
Before we move out, I saw a lot of comments about your pod at the end of that spotlight we did for Velcro Jones. I got a good laugh out of that because we had fun throwing that together at the last second.
That was pretty awesome. We were sitting there. I'm sorry, fans. We did not plan it. We sat there and we said, "Do you have any ideas for how we can end the video?" "No, I really don't." "Oh, I know." And we spent 4 minutes putting as many obnoxious things as we possibly could all over my pod, and then I saved it and we filmed it, and the whole thing took 5 minutes.
I got a little giggle when we thought of the idea. I think you came up with it, but when we actually got it together, I was really laughing. That was good.
I think was it Corey who said that he actually made my pod?
Yeah.
Which is even funnier. That really is funny.
Nothing like hearts all around your pod.
Yeah, I pulled that up the other day. It really is horrifying. It's bad. But why it's funny. Okay, so let's move on to community creations.
This one's a unique one.
Yes, we're going to cover the Media Molecule story mode levels as kind of considering Media Molecule as a creator. Even
though we're also considering PSP levels, correct?
We are. So we're going to look at them. We're not going to spend loads of time on it. We're a little bit over on our timeline, but we're going to look at them as a creator kind of since 2008, right? So LBP 1, LBP PSP, which, okay, probably technically Cambridge did some of the levels, but I'm sure there was input. And then Little Big Planet 2.
All right, so you just want to give me, can you remember your bests and worsts of the original Little Big Planet? Little Big Planet?
Best and worst. So best is probably Meerkat Bounce, the survival challenge is just one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah, I forgot all about that. This is
good.
Funny.
I love that. I just can play it endlessly. It's really, really fun. I love it.
I love the whole Meerkat thing they did with that. I don't know. It seemed like when I got to that part, I was like, wow, I love the game. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. You were like carrying the Meerkat's baby around with you. I mean, I know you're talking about the survival.